Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings and salutations in the name of the Most High. This is your host, Tyler Hemp, with HempAware Radio and hempaware.com. I'm really excited about today's show because it deals with one of the most important aspects of our lives, which is our homes and the structures that we live and work and breathe in and that we create in on a daily basis. And in today's world, there's so many toxins and harsh chemicals that are both harmful to our personal health and to our Earth's environment. And for our world, is an outpicturing of our minds and of our feelings. So, of course, to solve this solution with a sustainable, green, economic, potential, we're going to discuss hemp as a building material. And to do this with us, we have Matt Eklund of hemp. Of Northwest Hemp Builders. He's a hemp builder, a hemp educator, and he's, been networking and on the hemp platform for many years and knowledgeable about hemp building materials and Hempcrete. So I'm really excited to bring him on the show today. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Tyler. Glad to be here.
My pleasure. Yeah, so the show goes by pretty quick. We have about 28 minutes left, and I'd love to present a few questions to you. And the first one I have is, tell us a little bit about, how you were introduced to hemp and why you've chosen to use it as a material that you're working with and sharing with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess my relationship with Hempcrete is a little romantic. I was, with my wife when we were at a music festival here in Washington, and there was actually a banner with it was a Hempcrete, banner, and I was like, wow, what is that? And all of my construction background is concrete, and I immediately was like, wow, I got to find out what's up with this Hempcrete stuff. So of course, I got online. And just started learning more about it and learning the building method of Hempcrete, and I just really took to it. So that kind of led me, on the beginning path to just really kind of networking with people in the industry and really just getting more educated about the plant variety and getting to workshops as frequently as I could. So that was definitely the beginning. So I guess it's been a couple of years now, but
cool.
Yeah.
So you just were inspired by hemp, and you saw that it could be a building material, and you already had experience with concrete. So you were like, "This is a solution." Did you kind of already have a desire to do something more eco-friendly or in the green movement, or was it that moment that inspired you?
No, yeah, I was already interested in working with cob and doing some just home projects with cob and kind of getting to know clay a little more and working with clay. I had the opportunity to go out to Port Townsend. There's a really amazing eco-village out there, and I was able to work on a project building a straw clay home. And it's actually Washington State's first fully regulated, inspected, and coated straw clay build. So that was kind of my first introduction to natural building, being able to on site and actually work with a crew and just have that really great experience. So that was,
wow.
It was just getting into Hempcrete kind of at that time. So I was really enjoying sharing just knowledge of Hempcrete and stuff, and people were very like, oh, what is this? I want to know more about it, because it's still very new in the natural building world in terms of, the United States, primarily just because we're not, our market is not really there yet for the materials that I need to make Hempcrete homes. So.
Mm-hmm.
But
that makes sense. Straw clay and cob and straw bale and working with lime and lime paints and natural plasters and such. All of that really interests me,
and Hempcrete falls right in
Definitely.
line. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So why do you think builders, architects, designers, inventors, and people that are into the construction world, why do you think they would even consider hemp as a building material, and what are some of the benefits and value that it has to offer to the market?
That's a good question. So there's definitely a lot of important angles to look at. I guess when we're talking about utilizing the hemp plant for, hemp-based building materials and biocomposites like hempcrete and agricultural plastics. So if we can maybe talk a little bit about history, I guess, we can look at like Henry Ford as one of the first in the 19th century to, pioneer the industry by using hemp to construct car panels. And I know there's a lot of people that know about the hemp card. Actually, the hemp card that he made was actually kind of a combination of fibers. So it was soy, flax, hemp. So it was kind of a modge podge of fibers for this car. But I think it's a perfect example of how to integrate industry and agriculture, right? So some of the benefits, Ford and his team were looking at were safety and fuel efficiency, and they were also easing the demand for metal in that time period. So, some of the benefits that they were kind of looking at. And then if you fast forward about 35 years to France, this tradesman, Charles Rossetti, who became known, pretty much as the first guy to use hemp herds for infill. And the reason why he wanted to use hemp herds for infill on these, aging structures that he was growing up around and is because they, in more recent times, started using cementish materials to fix these old buildings. But the cement, basically, when you add cement to any kind of natural wall, you're basically sealing it up. And that just is really, really setting that building up for failure, because you're going to start capturing moisture in there. Stuff's going to rot. Even like the natural materials in there, like the straw and rubble or whatever they have in there, it's going to, break down. So he wanted to use hemp herd. It was readily available. Hemp was kind of on the rise in the area. And he started using hemp herd as the infill, and with really good results. And he had some buddies, some colleagues, that were also in his trade. And he was like a natural building restoration expert. And so he had some buddies that played huge roles in incorporating hemp and lime into the building systems. And they actually, did lots of test trials and stuff on the different plasters and such. So that they just, they played huge roles in getting it more well known, I guess I should say. So
interesting.
So I guess,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in terms of benefits to builders and architects and designers, choosing hemp makes sense. I mean, environmentally, economically, agriculturally, and ethically. And there's also the health benefits of using hemp as a building material, which nowadays is super important. When you factor in we look at what's going into our average homes, material-wise, it's kind of disturbing.
Absolutely. So can you explain what hempcrete is, and how is it different from concrete, and what is it made of, essentially? And how easy is it to work with? So my definition, and there's lots of little definitions out there. My simplest definition for hempcrete is it's an earth-friendly biocomposite. Its main function is to insulate structures. It's got a really, really amazing thermal mass, meaning that it has the ability to take on moisture and re-release it. The ingredients for it's the simplest mix design for hempcrete is hemp herd, or the shiv. The hemp herd is the inner woody core of the hemp plant,
and then we mix that with a lime binder, and then obviously add water. There's other additions that you can add, like sand. If you're making hemp plaster, for say, you want to use sand. You can also use sand in a regular Hempcrete wall mix. You can also add pozzolans, like natural brick dust or lime dust for strengthening properties. And I've also experimented with conventional pozzolans, like super plasticizers that they use in, or not super plasticizers, I'm sorry, but that's just strengthening agents that they use in, conventional concrete nowadays. So the different types of lime that you would want to use are hydrated lime and hydraulic lime. And there's a couple of different, sources locally that you can get those limes, but you want to kind of stay clear of any quick lime. I know that there's some stuff out there on the internet. Like if you're looking for mix designs for Hempcrete, if you're interested, there are a couple of people that have done some experimentations with quick lime, and I highly recommend not. It's really caustic, and you can burn yourself very easily. So stay away from quick lime, and then also agricultural lime. Not really sought after. You can use it, but it's got a very, very low set time. So you really want to look for hydrated lime or natural hydraulic lime.
Okay, and then what would the ratios be on average, like water to lime to hemp hurd?
It's usually like a 4:1:1 ratio. I've done a lot of experimenting with mix designs. As like my whole background within the concrete world, I was a batch plant operator and did mix designs and custom mix designs. So like, I really just got heavily involved with different ratios. But I found that a 4:1:1, 4-part herd, 1 part binder, and then 1 part water works really well. And then obviously if you want to add sand, that becomes a little more custom. But there is some information also on the web for mix design ratios. The 4:1:1 worked pretty well for me.
Cool. What are some of the websites that you have gleaned from that share hemp building information?
I think the one that stood out to me the most in the beginning was Hemp Technologies, Hemp Technologies Group. A lot of really good information on their website. Let's see. I guess maybe as far as mix designs, that was kind of the only one.
Okay.
Other than that, I was just... Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, other than building houses with this, I know you mentioned the hemp car and different composites that can be made with the hemp. What would you say are some other good building ideas or structures that could be made out of hemp fibers, other than houses?
Other than houses, I mean, really, you can use, hemp. You can use Hempcrete pretty much for any kind of structure. It's not a load-bearing material by any means, but I guess if you are looking at hemp bricks, hemp or canna bricks is maybe a brand name, but those might have a little bit of load-bearing qualities. So, I mean, really, when you're talking about structures, we're talking about maybe apartment buildings or hospitals, sheds, museums, churches,
office buildings.
Yeah, office buildings. I've heard of dog houses. Being little Hempcrete dog houses. There might be a market for that. Absolutely, like facilities for special needs. People that may be a little chemical sensitive. I know that there's some structures in America, I think, that are in the process of being built that are Hempcrete. My wife and I are doing some home projects, and I've discussed with her, well, maybe we should just do we're doing some fireplace work, and I told her I'd like to maybe do like a hempcrete, hearth and everything around, and so we're still tossing up the idea. But I thought that'd be kind of cool.
Definitely. So you're saying anyone? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I've had some people ask me about driveways. Like, can we make hempcrete driveways? And I just tell them, sure, we can. Why not? I think that it would get kind of dirty, but shoot, why not?
Yeah, anything's possible. I know that that's for sure. So what is your favorite part of working with hemp as a building material? I mean, obviously we know it's really good for us. We know it's good for the environment. But what would you say is the most enjoyable part of working with building with hemp material?
I think it kind of hit me when I was in Colorado. I was doing this workshop out there. We were building Colorado's the first tiny hempcrete home, out there, and I was like up on scaffolding, and I'm packing hempcrete in a wall, and it was like one of those like aha moments where everything was just kind of aligned, and I was like, this is certainly what I want to be doing right now at this time, and it kind of just hit me that I really love the fact that this plant, this super humble plant, is able to provide so much, and it really just it made me feel really good about the material that I was working with, knowing that there isn't any harmful chemicals involved, and so on that level, it just made me feel really good. I love the flexibility of the material is great, meaning that it's really hard to screw up, a mixed design. Whereas like if you take a product like concrete, you have to have, you're worried about water cement ratios and such, and on a level of mixed design logistics for hempcrete, you do have to worry about how much water you put in or whatever, but there's just much more room for flexibility on a scope of error, like error margin, I guess.
Cool. So it would be a lot easier for the layman to use, not just any professional builder, but it sounds like people could start learning how to actually utilize hemp in their own backyards for, maybe a little yoga room or maybe a little shed or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The group that we had out in Colorado, I would say, 80% of them really had no previous construction background at all. And it was amazing to see a group of 25 people come together and really just take to it. Like by the second day, it seemed like everybody was professional, hempcrete tampers and, and mixed design pros, So I would say that, yes, anybody that wants to do any kind of home projects or renovation, work, retrofitting. Don't be afraid of not being able to learn, the basics of hempcrete. I mean, it's super easy stuff to work with.
Cool. So with that said, it's obviously easy to work with. But generally, anytime somebody's learning about something new, challenges will come up. What are some of the challenges that you might have faced building with hemp, and how were you able to overcome them?
Well, I would say the one challenge, I think that somebody would maybe have is maybe working around lime. Lime is pretty caustic, and so if you're not careful about it, you can get burns. So that was certainly one of my challenges, when I was working with, mixing it up, there's a lot of lime dust. But you also want to protect your lungs and your eyes. So I guess those would be more challenges like on the job. I know that and I haven't built, this was a story that was told to me by one of my colleagues, and he said that he was facing some issues with moisture he was doing a Hempcrete build, and this is out in Ontario, and he had big-time moisture issues, so he had to, had a dehumidifier inside of the structure, and he was really battling because you don't want your Hempcrete has to cure properly, and if it's overly too much moisture in it for too long a time, you can fracture the wall system basically, and you'll get mold issues, and so that was a story that was shared to me. So moisture could be an issue, and I guess some challenges that I've also faced in the hempcrete world are just sourcing, my hemp herd. So resources. It's been really tough. I'm up in Washington, and it's been tough to get my hemp herd shipped in because it's just really, really expensive. So I have to really monitor my projects and make sure that I need, this much herd for this project and this much herd for this project. But so I'm really looking forward. Sorry, go ahead.
I know that. Well, go ahead and finish that thought, and then I can ask you the next question.
Oh, I'm just really, really excited for the coming years. I know our domestic market is going to ease up a little bit, and hopefully we can start seeing more hemp production in the States. And
right, which is what my next question was kind of leaning towards. There's a lot of states out there that are doing different things to help get the legislation passed so that we can legally start growing industrial hemp. And we know that Oregon and Washington and Colorado have all allowed for medicinal cannabis to be legal on some level. In your experience, what's Washington as a political entity? How does it perceive industrial hemp? Do you feel that it's lightening things up, or how does it look up there?
Yeah, I certainly think that, I believe that hemp is going to be grown in Washington very soon. I think that there are a lot of things that Washington needs to do to get the right regulations happening, because we absolutely need regulation on the types of hemp that are to be grown, hemp strands. And I think that there is definitely room for improvement on all of the regulations and legislation and stuff that's out there. So I just want to see.
You feel hopeful?
I want to see the right hemp grown in the right areas, and I want to just see it done, correctly for everybody. So it's not like the wild, wild west. There's just because I really need to have a certain strand of hemp to get the right kind of hemp herd that I need to build, homes with, and there's certain strands out there that aren't right for that. So it's just really important that we have those regulations set in place.
Absolutely. And so what would you say are some of the qualities that you're looking for in a particular seed or, in a particular plant?
Primarily, I'm looking for fiber that is clean and clear of any kind of leaf material. I basically want just really good quality hemp herd. So not really being completely educated about all the different strands of hemp plants out there. It's definitely that's an ongoing learning experience for me.
Definitely. Well, we just have about 5 minutes left, and so I have a couple more questions for you. What do you foresee the future holding as far as hemp building materials? What markets would you encourage young entrepreneurs or even entrepreneurs that have had their own businesses for years, but they want to start moving into more eco-friendly, conscious products? What do you foresee in this next 2 years as being a good area to invest in for people, whether they're builders or whether they're, business people? What do you see a good area of the hemp building to invest in or start focusing on?
Well, I think as far as the medicinal industry is absolutely booming. I think that's a wonderful, business venture to get into. I personally, I'm very interested in manufacturing and producing hemp plants. I would love to learn how to farm. I'm not really sure if that's in my scope or on down the line for me. I certainly would love that, opportunity. But I think that anybody that is, interested in the hemp industry, first and foremost, go out and get extremely educated and just kind of see what all the different opportunities are out there to be had. It's a very open market right now. I think that there's a lot of potential, businesses for like in every scope.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily
Definitely,
for construction, construction-wise, it's really wide open. I know that, just in the U.S., there's not a whole lot of construction companies, that deal with Hempcrete at all. I don't know if there's. I don't even think there is one in Washington State. I mean, that I know of, anyways. So
right.
The market, it's pretty wide open right now.
Very cool. So, as my last question, I would like for you to share with our listeners one thing that they could do today that will help integrate hemp into their homes. Maybe something that they could do to share it with other people, or just what's one thing that you would encourage people to start doing today to raise awareness about hemp?
Get educated. Jump on the web. Take workshops. If you have an opportunity to take a workshop in Hempcrete, I highly recommend it. If you want to stay in touch with legislation and everything, go check out the HIA, Hemp Industries Association. Find out if you have a local chapter in your state. Check out Vote Hemp, and just stay connected. Facebook has been a huge catalyst in for myself personally. Just getting connected with everybody. So.
That's how we
get educated. Yeah. And then absolutely. And also support the industry by purchasing hemp goods, and purchase hemp goods from companies that are here in the U.S. already, like Enviro Textiles. Check them out. They're out of Colorado. I know they just opened up a place in California too.
Yes.
But there's and Hemp Traders and lots of really cool local places. So invest in the market, invest in the industry. Wear it.
Absolutely.
Wear it and go
awesome.
with it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for being on the show today. We just have about 1 minute left, so I wanted to let our listeners know that if you have a hemp company or you have hemp experience, if you want to be on the Hemp Aware radio show, give us a call at 805-410-4367. And please, as Matt said, go buy something hemp, go online, go to the HIA, thehia.org or votehemp.com, and start spreading the word about hemp. See if you can get involved with local hemp companies and spread the word. It's definitely for our future, for our planet, for our children, and for the success of our lifestyles, and to live a healthy, radiant, vibrant, dynamic lifestyle. Hemp is an essential key. So thank you so much for listening to Hemp Aware Radio. Matt, thanks so much for being on the show, and we look forward to connecting with you all very soon.
Tyler, thanks so much.
All right. Much love. Peace and blessings.